Hi, there's Carl Irwin, the Common Magician, and I'm going to show you a trick that I do. This actually is going to be several things. We'll do kind of all at one time. But this is the sort of thing that I do for people. This is not a theoretical idea. It's not something just being presented on the channel for your consideration. But this is the real stuff, the stuff that I actually do. This would start with a deck that is shuffled by a spectator. I'd have them shuffle it up so that everything's in an order that I don't know. And then I'm going to demonstrate some card control and card location. In order to do this, I need to take a moment and kind of memorize the layout. So just in just a matter of a few seconds, if you just bear with me as I kind of get my bearings here. Okay, this is kind of tricky, but we have various kinds of memorization devices in order to do this. I think I've got it. I think I've got all of it now. So let's see. One cut can find an ace. I think I missed it there. Right here. Ace number 2. And the last, what we'll do here is the last couple, see if I can grab them together at the same time. Okay, I think I got it right here. And the last 2 aces. That's all 4 aces from a shuffled deck, a deck that you shuffled. I want to do this again, but we're going to make it much, much, much more difficult. And the way that we'll do this is I'm going to take the aces and I'm going to place them into the deck facing the wrong way. And you're thinking to yourself, how in the world is that going to make it more difficult, right? I mean, obviously, if they're all facing the wrong way, all I have to do is spread and see the cards that are facing the wrong way, and I found them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of the other cards and also reverse them somewhat randomly. So some cards are facing up, some cards are facing down, complete chaotic order. The idea here is that as I look through, I won't necessarily be able to spot the aces very quickly. I'll have to sort of gauge and memorize the order of the cards as I'm mixing them up so that I can very quickly find those aces. And you can see we have this mess here, cards facing up, cards facing down. There's some places where they're back to back and face to face like this. And this is going to happen very quickly. In fact, I'm going to find them much more quickly right now than I did the first time. Seems hard to believe, but here it is. Ready? And in that moment, everything has been made right except for the 4 aces. You can see all the cards are now facing the right direction except for the 4 aces. That was easy. That was easy. We're going to try something else here, somewhat related to this concept of location and order. What I want to do is I'm going to try to determine which cards are red and which cards are black. So which cards are red and which cards are black. And I'm just going to pile them up, but I'm not going to look at them. I'm just going to feel their weight and their consistency. You may not know this, but the black cards, the black ink tends to be a little bit more rigid. The red cards, the red ink is a little bit more flexible. It's also lighter. So I'm going to try to stack these up very quickly as I can, and get these back into order. Let's see how I do. I think that's wrong. I think this is black. Yep, black. Let's see how we did. Let's see how we did. So let's check right here. We're going to look at this side. This is the black side. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Let's take a look. Black, black, all black. In fact, if we go all the way down, you'll see not only are they all black, but we also have all reds on this side. Red and black. Complete order from complete chaos from a deck that you shuffled. So, we have a couple things going on here. There's an ace location, a triumph routine, and also an out of this world presentation. So, people have extreme opinions about all of these kinds of tricks. This is a way that I might routine them together, sometimes because one thing kind of leads to the next. One thing sets the next one up pretty well. I will say this. I usually do these separately, and often for the out of this world, I will have the spectator do the dealing out. I often will do the ace location just as a separate one-off thing, but I have found that that routines very well into the triumph. I very rarely do triumph where cards are selected. I like to do the slop shuffle triumph. It's my favorite one. I've found that by doing the slop shuffle triumph, either one of two ways, either by doing it with the 4 aces or by having multiple cards selected. I find that's the best visual way to do the slop shuffle so that you can really show that everything is mixed up. Having multiple selected cards that are of focus makes that, I think, look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing to the eye and more believable and imperceptible whenever you do the actual presentation of it. So I will often do the aces with the triumph, or I will often do the triumph with the out of this world. For obvious reasons there, that with the triumph and the way that is done, one can lead very easily into the next. So what you're looking at, though, is a way to deal with fairly accessible tricks that are pretty surefire, pretty easy to do. You're not really going to mess these up. There's not a lot of sleights going on there for sure. Really none. There's really no sleights at all happening in these presentations, almost self-working. But what you have is the ability to do that shuffled deck into a miracle kind of presentation. And that is often how I will do that kind of a routine. It would be a 4 ace location from a shuffled deck to a triumph with that deck, then to out of this world. And right there, you've got 3 very well-known kinds of things, right? Finding aces out of the deck is a very well-known thing for magicians to do. Certainly, among magicians, triumph is a very well-known effect, and of course, out of this world is just one of those great effects. It may be one of the very best things, most amazing things you can do with a deck of cards. Is out of this world. And here you get it all. Big bang for your buck. You could just do those 3 things and not do any card magic for people for a week, after that, because that's all pretty good heavy hitting stuff. Classics of magic. They never get old. Things that I do. So again, sometimes I'll split them up. I'll do one, then the other. I don't always do the slop shuffle in such a way that I'm set up for out of this world, but it's a nice way to pull that off without having to worry about a setup. So things that I do. Good luck with that. Happy magicking.